given us, and let us rejoice and be glad that we are in it. I know there are some people that are still sleeping soundly because they forgot to change the clock. But our online people, they're lucky because they can just tune in anytime on the internet and see us whenever that's convenient for them. So welcome to the online people. Welcome to all of you here. God loves you, and so do we. Give a greeting to your neighbors there.
Good morning.
Well, thank you so much. It's really wonderful. If you just join me in prayer for one moment. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to get up this morning and see the sunshine and look at the beautiful mountains with the gold hue that was in behind them. It was just greeting us to a wonderful new day. And we greet you, all the congregation, and ask that you carry the love of God with you everywhere you go throughout the week. Amen. Well, I have really wonderful time at this church because we have speakers that are so enthusiastic and have good senses of humor. And Reverend Charlene just told me that she always tells her congregations, come early if you want a seat at the back. Because everybody likes to get in the back, fill up the back first, and then move forward. And so, good that you guys got here because you could get a seat at the back. That would be great. I'd like to thank everyone that is connected with our chapel here that helps us, all of our volunteers. Maureen is our coordinator, Maureen Lum, as well as one of our student ministers in training. And so if you want to help out, just get a hold of her. We've got lots of things that need to get done, and we thank everybody who's helped us with that. And this week, we don't have any other visiting ministers here other than Reverend Charlene Smith, but we do have our Ministry of Music that is represented today by Celia Collins, and you will notice that we are very fortunate that we have really terrific musicians. And even so, that online they now are asking us whether our musicians would like to do a DVD or a CD so that they can pick it up and play it through the week to inspire them because they love the music from the chapel. So I just say thank you that we've got such wonderful ministers in music here too. We're going to sing number 35 now, and we are going to then welcome Reverend Charlene Smith to the rostrum.
In Ottawa, you're in another church in Ottawa. So we have the chance now, because she can come and visit the other chapels, to have welcomed her forward. I want to talk to you, is this on? Or just a little switch up there?
That's better. I want to talk to you this morning about a series that I did on the art of peace. And what I want to talk to you about this morning is part of that art of peace is getting along with each other. Because we know that we always have family members, perhaps one in every family probably, and friends and co-workers sometimes that we meet and we wonder why we're there in that space, and that's because we're there to help ourselves and develop ourselves in getting along with each other. So I want to start off with a story about a young woman who was a wonderful person. And however, every once in a while something would happen and she'd get frantic and wild. Did you ever do that? About something. And she was all upset because one day she got a letter from someone that really disturbed her. She was really upset about this letter and she couldn't let it go. Has that ever happened to you when you get an incident or an event in your life? It's really hard to let it go. So she decided that the best way to approach this problem would be to have a visit with her mentor. So she did. She went to see her mentor. And when she finished telling her mentor all about it, her mentor listened carefully. And her mentor talked to her and tried to help her and tried to calm her down. And her mentor said to her, you know, when these things happen, you can do something right away that's going to help you. So I pass this on to you too. Her mentor said to her, when these things happen, you can know that you're centered and poised in the Christ mind. Centered and poised in the Christ mind, and nothing can disturb the calm peace of your soul. That's a really good affirmation, isn't it, to say? Well, she had a wonderful afternoon with her mentor, and she had such a nice visit. And when she left, as she got up, she said to her mentor, well, I remember now I'm going to get centered, and I'm going to affirm that I'm calm and centered, and nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. So they chatted a bit, and she put her coat on, and she went to leave. And when she went to leave, she said, now I won't forget, I'm going to remember about this letter, and about that I'm centered and poised in the Christ mind, and nothing can calm the disturbed peace of my soul. So she really didn't have it quite right when she left, did she? I think we all have had this kind of experience. When we lose our cool, so to speak, we frustrate our lives with thoughts of prejudice, with thoughts of judgment, with thoughts of animosity. And that's why Jesus stressed the great law. He said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength. And thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Lao Tzu said that one lives in proportion to the number of points with which he contacts life and the world, inferring that the flow of life goes outward to form a harmonious interaction with people. He says to love God and your neighbor is to establish the points with which you contact people in the world, and it is to get into the flow of love. You know, getting along with each other is the key to our interdependence. And more than that, I think that we yearn for it. I think we really do. I was a multiculturalism consultant for a board of education for 7 years before I came into ministry. And what I noticed is that people emphasize differences rather than similarities. I felt that my job was to establish an awareness among the students in the schools, and that each one of us is unique and that we all have something to give each other. You know, there are always factors that can set us apart from one group of people. From one group of people than another. You know, there's skin color, there's culture, there's language, there's religion, there's abilities. So I think that we tend to see the differences rather than the similarities. One thing I learned is that getting along with each other relates only secondarily to the other person.
It really refers to getting along with the reality of yourself, and also being willing to keep the channels of consciousness free from limiting thoughts. A woman described an experience on the subway one time when she got on the subway and she was finished work, and she boarded the subway and she spotted this empty seat down the aisle a little way away, and she headed for it. And she was about to sit down, well, at the same time, another woman coming from the side door, another door in the subway, ran for the seat, pushed her out of the way, and sat down. Well, the woman was really mad. She got herself into a flying temper, and she said things that she doesn't usually say to people. She called her all kinds of names because she felt, what are you doing taking my seat? Well, the whole episode left this woman in a turmoil of anger at the woman she felt guilty about the way that she treated her and what she said to her. But she said, well, what can I do when someone acts like this? How can I keep myself in the spirit of love and harmony when everywhere I go I run into this kind of behavior? She said, what's wrong with the people in the world anyway? You ever heard comments like that? I'm sure that we can all identify with this experience. Maybe in your car, maybe taking a bus to work, perhaps in your own family. Let's think about it for a moment as if it was your own experience. Jesus said, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. I remember when I was in ministerial school, I'd been speaking to a couple that were also Canadian, and they were in first year, and I was in my second year, and I was the only Canadian in the class, and they were the only Canadians in their class. I went to ministerial school in Kansas City, Missouri. And I remember I had an argument with this couple, and I didn't feel very good about it when I left. And I was walking back to my room, and I heard that in my ear. What is that to thee? Follow thou me. And I remember I kind of jumped, put my briefcase on the ground and looked around because I thought there was somebody behind me. And it reminded me of that little quote that Jesus said. One of the ministers at ministerial school said every time he would go to a meeting, he would put that on the front of his file folder. What is that to thee? Follow thou me. And he said that helped him listen so much more instead of interrupting with his own ideas and his own thoughts. So it's a good thing to remember. This doesn't mean that we're blindly indifferent to the world around you, but it does mean that before you try to understand and correct conditions out there, that we need to get ourselves in order in here, and in the flow of life. In other words, it's an inside job, isn't it? Although it might seem obvious that the other person is out of the flow, that's his or her responsibility to live with. The incident is external, but the reaction, friends, is always completely your own. Always your own. There's always a flow of love and harmony everywhere, whether you're aware of it or not. You're consciously moving in the presence of God. You don't have to leave that presence. You leave the consciousness of the presence, but you're always in the flow and in the presence of God, no matter what's happening. The Dalai Lama said, today's world requires us to accept the oneness of humanity. In the past, isolated communities could afford to think of one another as fundamentally separate. Some could even exist in total isolation. But nowadays, whatever happens in one region eventually affects many other areas. Within the context of the new interdependence, self-interest clearly lies in considering the interest of others. He said, I believe that the very purpose of life is to be happy. From the very core of our being, we desire contentment. In my own limited experience, I have found that the more we care for the happiness of others, the greater is our own sense of well-being. He says, cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. It helps remove whatever fears or insecurities we may have, and gives us the strength to cope with any obstacles we encounter. It's the principal source of success in life. And he goes on to say, when you recognize that all beings are equal, and like yourself in both their desire for happiness and their right to obtain it, you automatically feel empathy and closeness to them. You develop a feeling of responsibility to others and the wish to help them actively overcome their problems. True compassion is not just an emotional response, but a firm commitment founded on reason. And he closes this quote with saying it's natural that we should face obstacles in pursuit of our goals. But if we remain passive, making no effort to solve the problems we meet, conflicts will arise and hindrances will grow, just as we see in the world right now. Transforming these obstacles into opportunities for positive growth is a challenge to our human ingenuity, but to achieve this requires patience, compassion, and use of our intelligence. When I was in the schools as a multiculturalism consultant, I'd go from classroom to classroom and I'd talk to the children in an elementary school, this was, about getting along with each other. And in order to do that, we had to be happy with who we are. We have a choice every day to embrace that. Our attitude, friends, makes such a difference. Well, I talk about what constitutes peace in the world, too, because I think happiness and getting along with each other begins with peace within ourselves. And I remember one school I went to, the grade 2s and 3s, wanted to make up a poem about peace. And then the music teacher put it into a song. I'm not going to sing it for you, but I will tell you the words. It was just so simple and yet so profound. Peace has no color. This is my song. Peace has no color. Sing it loud and strong. If we want world harmony, we must all one family be. Peace has no color. This is my song. Grade 2s and 3s. Isn't that beautiful? Before we can have peace with each other, we need to establish what's peace within ourselves. So I have the children also in the elementary schools draw and write about what their picture was about. And I wish I'd saved it. This was in the days in the 70s and 80s when we were doing the big books. I don't know if some of you remember the big books that children used to make in the schools. But I remember some of them. I remember a 6-year-old said, "Peace is sleeping with my dog." And a 7-year-old wrote, "Peace is blowing bubbles." And a 9-year-old said, "Peace is holding hands with my brothers and sisters." But a 12-year-old nearly blew me away when he said, "Peace is a state of public calmness." Wow. So profound, children. You know, throughout our lives, we're forever being thrown into relationships with people that we don't know. We go to school and we meet people in our classroom that we've never seen before. We leave school, we go to college or university. There's other people in our classroom. There's teachers we've never seen. And we sometimes have little in common with these people. We're attracted to some people and others are attracted to us. What do you do with people that don't seem to cooperate? You have that in your life? They don't seem to want to do anything you want to do or anything that everybody else is doing. They're different. We all have one like that, at least in our family. Sometimes that person's known as the black sheep of the family, the person that doesn't seem to get along with you. You can do something. You can turn on more light. You may wonder why you're there. You may wonder why you're there in a situation, say a work situation, that's really difficult, where people around you seem so difficult. But the point is, friends, that you are there. You're there for the moment. And wherever you are, God is. And wherever you are, there's a flow of light and love. So you can turn on that light. You ever gone out during the day and come home to a dark house or apartment, and you kind of fumble around for the light switch, and everything seems different, and you're bumping into things that you don't remember were there? And then what happens? You turn on the light, and wow, everything's fine. You didn't alter anything. You didn't move anything in the room. You didn't take anything away. Yet, in a flash, it's all changed. A moment ago, it has seemed like it was filled with hazards. But you see, now it's become a place of comfort, and you're glad to be home. Why? Because you turned on some light. And you can do the same from your inner self. In the same sense, we may be having an experience with someone who seems uncooperative and unfair. If we can just turn on the light, or get into the flow of love and harmony and understanding, it may unfold. Someone once said it takes two to make a quarrel. But what is not often said with that is that it only takes one to begin to resolve it. Jesus said, don't be a clogged lantern that chokes and smothers the light, the lamp hidden under a bushel. Let your light shine. You know, in those days when Jesus said that, sometimes they used to share one room. And if one family, there'd be families around in the room, the huge space, and they'd each have their own lantern. And sometimes if one family was cross with another family, they would hide their light so the other family couldn't see it and get the extra light plus their own light. And that's what Jesus was talking about. Know that you're in the flow. Know that your attitude changes and that people will seem to change. At least they'll deal with you in a different way. Guaranteed. Certain persons are always drawn to you, and others will move away from you. You notice as you go through your life and you get on the spiritual path that a lot of your friends you don't see anymore. And you meet new ones. And you have different things in common and different similarities. Eric Butterworth, who wrote Discover the Power Within You, says no matter what condition your outer world is in, you can find and express peace within yourself, for the kingdom of God is within you. It's not enough to isolate yourself in peace away from the world, but you must do more. You must become a peacemaker, a light bearer, an influence for peace among humankind. So don't delude yourself, friends. This isn't easy. Every week we sing here, let there be love on earth and let it begin with me. And to get along with people, we have to be willing to go along in the flow of life. We have to be a peacemaker and a light bearer, and we need to be true to ourselves. Sometimes the best way to get along with people is to get along without them. You ever notice that? Just let them go and walk away. Remember that life is lived from within out. And as long as you think that your happiness depends on what people are doing or saying about you, then you're going to watch out for anyone who threatens your position. Remember in the 4 agreements, the author says, don't take anything personally. That's hard, isn't it, sometimes? It's very hard. I want you to try and experiment with me for a moment. I would invite you just to hold out your hands. Now, clench both your fists. Just clench it. I can't do both here, but clench them really, really tightly. Can you feel your body getting tight? You can feel yourself almost ready to put up your dukes and fight, you know? Your defenses are up, your mind is tense, your thoughts of anger or fear start to enter your body, and tight, 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 tight. You're tight all over, right? Now open your hand and let it fall to your side. Watch how the tension leaves your body and your whole body begins to relax, doesn't it? You're no longer resistant. You know, the open hand is so marvelous. It holds no weapon. It's a symbol of peace. An open hand can pat someone on the back or even yourself. It can lift someone up. It can hold hands for a common cause. It can type a letter, plant a garden, paint a picture, and even turn the pages of a book. But closed hands hold on possessively to people and situations, and open hands let them go. Open hands symbolize a readiness to accept the flow in life. We never know where people are coming from. That's one thing I've really learned in ministry. You never know what people have been through, what pain they've seen in their life when you first meet them. You never know where they're coming from. So it's always important to be kind. We don't know the circumstances. We often expect the world to provide us with love and security and peace, when we can really only come from within ourselves. We can't dictate how our circumstances will be or should not be. We can't should on ourselves, right? We don't want the shooting on ourselves. In order to be peacemakers and light bearers, we need to accept that being different is all right. In fact, having a variety of opinions, traditions, and characteristics greatly enhances our lives. It greatly enhances our world. Sometimes differences cause difficulties, but we need to be able to disagree or agree to disagree while still respecting them and their right to be who they are. In order to be a peacemaker and get along with each other, we need to look for commonalities and build from there. Finding the common purpose or mutual benefit works towards a win-win solution. Always be clear and respectful in all communications, and don't hesitate to ask questions of others rather than making assumptions or jumping to conclusions. I'm sure a lot of you remember Joseph Campbell. He did a TV series with Bill Moyers. He was always had a lot of stories to tell, Joseph Campbell. And in Japan, at an international conference on religion, Campbell overheard an American delegate. He was a social philosopher, a very serious man from New York. He said to a Shinto priest, "Well, I've been to a good many of your ceremonies, and I've seen quite a few of your shrines, but I just don't get your theology. I don't understand what you're all about." Well, the Shinto priest paused, deep in thought, and then he slowly shook his head and said, "Well, you know," and he laughed. He said, "I really don't think we have a theology. We just dance." And I think we do that in life. It's a dance. It's a lovely dance. There's a wonderful example of attitude, that is. And the main ingredient to being a peacemaker. We can't change that people are going to act in a certain way. We can't change that. We can't read their minds. We can't change the inevitable, but you're in charge of your own attitude, friends. Many of us might feel that there is nothing that we can do for peace. Don't forget, we are the world. It starts with us. And know that getting along with each other need not be difficult. I want to close with a wonderful poem that really sums up everything I've been saying here today. It's called The Colors of the World. Once upon a time, the colors of the world started to quarrel. Each claimed to be the best and the most useful. The favorite green said, "I am the most important. I am the sign of life and hope. I was chosen for grass and leaves and trees. Without me, all the animals in the world would die." Blue interrupted, saying, "You think about the earth. Consider the sky and the sea. It's the water that is the basis of all life. Drawn up by the clouds from the deep blue sea, it's the sky that gives us peace and serenity. Without my peace, you would all be nothing." Yellow chuckled. "You're all so serious," he laughed. "I bring laughter and gaiety and warmth into this world. The sun is yellow, the moon is yellow, and every time you look at a sunflower, the whole world smiles. Without me, the world is no fun." Orange started again to blow her trumpet. "Well, I'm the color of health and strength, and I may be scarce, but I'm precious, for I serve the needs of human life. I carry the most important vitamins. Think of carrots, pumpkins, and oranges." Red couldn't stand it any longer. He shouted out, "I'm the ruler of all of you. I am blood, life's blood. I am the color of danger and bravery, and I'm always willing to fight for our cause. I bring fire into the blood. Without me, the earth would be as empty as the moon. I'm the color of passion and of love, the red rose and the poinsettia." Purple rose up to his full height. He stood tall and poised as he spoke. "I am the color of royalty and power. Kings and chiefs and bishops have always chosen me, for I'm the sign of authority and wisdom. People do not question me, they listen and obey." Finally, Indigo spoke, quietly and with determination. "Think of me. I am the color of silence. You hardly notice me, but without me, you all become superficial. I represent thought, reflection, twilight, and deep water. You need me for balance and contrast, for prayer and inner peace." So the colors went on, boasting, each one becoming louder than the other. And suddenly, thunder rolled and boomed. And in the midst of noise and confusion, rain began to speak. You foolish colors, fighting amongst yourselves, each trying to dominate the rest, don't you know that you were each made for a special purpose, unique and different? Join hands with one another and come to me. So the colors looked, and mumbling to themselves, they did as they were told. But they united hands, and rain spoke again. From now on, when it rains, each of you will stretch across the sky in a great bow of color as a reminder that you can all live in peace. The rainbow is a sign of hope for tomorrow. Whenever a good rain washes the world, a rainbow appears. And when we see that, all those beautiful colors, let's remember to appreciate one another. God bless you.
That was awesome, wasn't it, guys? Just wonderful. Just didn't let us down. I thought you did a really good job the last time. I think you exceeded that this time. That was wonderful. Okay, guys, and so now you know that we are a healing ministry, and we have an area at the back there that we have volunteers that work as healing facilitators that will give you hands-on healing if you choose to move to the back while the meditation's on. Also, during the meditation, as you bring the energy through yourself, that adds 1 times 10 times 10 times 10 with each person thinking in the same mind. So the healing energy coming through you helps to pass into the room and onward into the world to help further cause healing and peace within everybody. And even all the people online, they are joining with us when we have our healing. So if those healing facilitators would like to move to the back, and we'll do the meditation. Find a comfortable position and take your thoughts inward and upward to a little spot in the universe where God resides and healing begins. Allow the energy to move through the tips of your toes, moving upwards or around and round the body, and allow it to come out through the top of the head and flow over the body like a gentle summer rain. As you breathe in again, feel the energy bringing alive all the cells in the body that work together with all of the organs. And allow those organs to be like a wonderful symphony concert orchestra that play their instruments independently, but they play with such harmony and such rhythm that they are working for the whole beauty of the piece they are playing. And as you breathe the energy in and revitalize all of the energies in the body, in the cells, and the organs, know that you are doing that to bring healing to the whole. And as the energy comes in again through the tips of the toes, allow it to expand into the mind. Let the mind open and be receptive. Let the mind be positive and be healthy, so that it may touch the dreams, the ideas that God has to make you all that you can be. Allow those dreams, those thoughts, those energies to come through the mind to a healthy growth
so that they will grow and produce the dream that God has for you. Breathing in again, allow yourself to come in touch with the Spirit. That part of yourself that is always perfect. And allow the Spirit to communicate to the mind and the body what it needs for this journey that it is having in this physical existence. And as you have healed your own self, body, mind, and spirit, be like a pebble in a great pond of energy, and allow your energy to move forward and ripple outward, and let it touch each member in the room. And joining together, allowing the energy to draw through everyone to facilitate the healing. Taking a deep breath now, think about outside of this room, into the community of your family, the community around you, of your teachers and your leaders, and allow that energy to ripple out and touch all of them, so that they too may experience the wonderful healing, the wonderful peace. Allow that energy now to go forward into the world, and not only touch the world's leaders, but to touch the animals, the vegetation, the waters, the atmosphere, so that they may be healed. And let us be thankful to the animals and the vegetation and the minerals that give of themselves and serve us so greatly and feed us so well. Allow us now to reach out into the universe, into other parts of the universe that we are not familiar with, for many mansions in God's world that we are not aware of every room and every mansion. But we send love and we send caring, for God promises us that love and healing is never ending. And all we need to do is ask. And the energy will follow the intention of the thought. And the healing will begin. Now, as we circle back to the seat of the soul, take a few moments just to sit quietly before you come back to your everyday, workaday world, to enjoy the tranquility and the peace of the healing area of your garden, the inner garden of healing. And know that you may visit here at any time, and God has promised the love and the healing is never ending. So open your hearts, your mind, and your hand. God bless you, and He sends His angels to keep after you.
thank you to the healing facilitators on both sides, healing facilitators and angels that bring the energy from God to help us heal our body. And also thank you to Reverend Charlene Smith, who is a lot more clairvoyant than what she may think, was impressed to give me a healing. And I must tell you that because you happen to be in the light of God does not mean you are protected from things that aren't nice happening to you. And the only difference is that, as Dr. Shula says, tough times never last, but tough people do. And thank you, Charlene, because we have had quite a week, and I needed that extra little surge of energy and the help from somebody else, maybe to help me bring that energy through. So God bless you. That was wonderful. And we do have a healing area at the back, but there's a little bowl. If you have somebody who's in need of healing, please place their name in there. We've had Suzanne, who broke her ankle purse, has been in there. And we have returned to the fold after many months of being not feeling well. Is Phyllis. Hi, Phyllis. Welcome back. And we've had you in the healing, and that has helped. All the healing from the healers every day. They do prayer and think about the bowl and do bring that energy in. So God bless our healers, healing facilitators, and thank you so much for that. Do we have any birthdays today? Whoa, we have not had any birthdays.
Me.
You have we have a great one for you, and I'm sure God bless you. And we're going to happy birthday to the people online, because I'm sure we have some online people that have birthdays, and they're saying, how about us? That's 1 year better, and thank God for having you here. We'd also like to announce that next week, Derrick Whiteskycloud will be our speaker, and he's quite a favorite. He's also studying with us as a minister in training, so he will be speaking next week. So a lot of people online find him a favorite as well, so they will be tuning in, I'm sure, for that. We're not going to spend a lot of time now. We're going to start using our time more effectively on announcements. You have a paper that is handed out, and anybody who is online can go online and find out the activities that are going on. The one thing I would like you to remember, that if you want to be involved with the big bazaar that we're going to have on May 17th, if there's anybody that's crafting or wants to be involved with the tables, do let us know. The other thing is we need lots of volunteers, and we also want you to bring the kids, the grandkids, everybody to this, because it's going to be an absolute wonderful affair. And that's going to be at our bazaar, where we're going to have a magician, George Cook from Magic and Children, and also I'm giving her last name, Rosemary Phyllis is going to come over from the island, and she's going to do some children's stuff and then speak with us the next day and do that musical thing that she did the last time she was here, which was really wonderful. So do remember that. Keep that in mind. And it's time now that if you want to turn to page 21 and get ready to sing In the Garden of Life, you can stand and you can contribute at that time to help support our ministry. Thank you.
offering, and we do take these tithings that are coming from those people who are giving back to you that of which you have given to them. Please guide us to use it to the highest and the best for the work of this chapel. There we are. Now we're coming to the winter time, and we are going to hear from Charlene. You're not going to do some? I'll do some if you like. Do some with me. You want to? If you see somebody there that kind of turns you on like it did me, you obviously gave me a message because I know I need that. Okay, I'll work with that, and if Charlene has something. Last time you did some, didn't you? I did. Yeah, and it was wonderful. Did a great job. So I am going to come down, and Doreen, I'd like to come to you, please. Tremendous energy around you right now, and it's almost as if, you know how a racer, it starts like this and you're ready to get going, waiting for the gun to get shot off, and it can, sometimes they're watching when the gun's going to start. This is what I'm getting with you right now. Spirit is saying you're just chomping at the bit for them to shoot that gun so you can get going. So you obviously have some things coming through you that have been encouraging you and getting your passion working there. You understand that? And so what I'm seeing there is that the workers are gathering around and they're saying, we're ready to shoot the gun. So, you know, just don't start out ahead of time. You've got to have all your ducks in a row before you run out. Okay? But it is going to be very, very good. It certainly is a dream that God has given you. And just like we do say, that's basically, we base the ministry on that God has a dream for everybody. And when one dream finishes, another dream comes. They never get finished giving us dreams if we open our hand. Okay? So it's wonderful. Get ready to go. I hope we can watch you race and watch you on the finish line. Okay? God bless. It's wonderful. Valentine, thank you. There's a lot of energy around you right now as well. And I don't like to say that it's negative energy because it's not. It's staticky energy. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. And it's like as if there's a little bit of frustration because in the sense that you also would like to get out and get going on the things that you have planned in your mind there. But it's almost like you're in the winter of a season. Do you understand that? Where you can't grow the corn in the winter, you can just get the plants working. So enjoy bringing in what you've learned from the past and using that as a tool to get ready for the new garden. It's not that far away. I've got maybe 2 months more to 3 months of where you're kind of finishing up the old life and getting ready for another new start. So I feel really good with that. Exceptionally good. So that's really, really good. Celia, for your birthday, your son is here. Your son is here, and he is so excited about how things are going for you with your music. He is really excited about that, and he's also, I was thinking when I was up here about telling the people again about this, people requesting for you guys to put the music on a CD, and he is excited about that. He really wants to be around and listen to that. And he's saying every time somebody else plays that, he's going to be included in it. His vibration is going to be there, so he's going to be very much a part of it. And also, he's saying that don't concern yourself that maybe you're putting out too much energy, because you're taking it in as you're doing it. You know, you're not going to bring yourself out or anything. You like the rest of us, maybe we have to pace a little bit as we get better. Sometimes we can't apply it as well because our body doesn't do the same thing. But you are better every year, he says, better at what you're doing. You're learning and you're developing every year. And don't think that, you know, that you need to slow down. He just loves to hear your music. We know that because he fiddled around with your fiddle, didn't he? We're a little bit, you're upset with him, but he didn't. He thought it was fun. Yeah, that's really good. So God bless you. Have a great birthday. And, you know, just keep going the way you're going because your ministry, you guys are the ministry here for that. because that really uplifts everybody. Okay, God bless you. The lady with the long hair and the blue outfit. Hi. I don't know if I've met you before or not. I don't know your name, I'm sorry.
That's Pixie.
Pixie. Okay, Pixie. I'm really feeling energetic with you. The smile that you have on your face, you radiate. And so I feel a little bit of artistic energy coming through with you as well. And I'm saying that because what I'm looking at is I'm looking at you, but then I'm looking at you on like a portrait, like as if I'm painting and doing things of that nature. And I'm expressing all this beautiful energy that's coming through me, which is angel-like energy, into the artwork that I'm doing. Do you understand that? And I feel a lot of ability there. There's a tremendous amount of input coming from different energies that work with you. And you pick up more, like if you're working with somebody else, they want something done, it's like you do pick up clairvoyantly from them the information from the angel realm. Okay? So I feel that what you're producing there, people should definitely be getting the exposure for that. And they're saying don't hide your light under the bushel. Don't hide your light under the bushel. Get that out so everybody can see it. Every chance that you can get to do that, get moving out there, they're saying. Because the more people that see it, the more networking that goes on, and angels from both sides can help. Okay? So show it to everybody, whatever you're doing there. Okay? God bless. That was wonderful. And Phyllis, family's there. They're all popping. I'm talking to this lady, and they're popping in all over the room. And I'm talking about family, not just the girls and your husband, but all the relatives. It's like they're having a family reunion. So what's going on around your house? Is there something special going on in around?
Go on there.
Around this time for you guys? Well, it must be just that they're celebrating you back on your feet. And from what I'm getting there, they really gathered in quite close during the time that you were ill. And we definitely are glad that you're on your feet. We have missed you, sweetie, and so glad to have you back. And I'll do one more. And I'd like to come to the lady that's right behind Ellen. Hi, right at the back. Yeah. And first I thought I was coming to Ellen, and then it kind of bounced back. And I think maybe I'm getting some parallel there is what they're giving me, a parallel with that. You're very well organizer. Do you understand? You're a great organizer. And use that talent to help other people who aren't quite as organized. I think I'm getting the message for both of you because of I know what's going on with Ellen. I think they're saying to me the same thing for you as it's saying for Ellen. So kind of this is a Me Too message. And so use all this wonderful talent that you have of being able to organize and make contacts and know how to get everything in its right slot to help those people who maybe need that. And we certainly need Ellen around us because we've got great ideas, but we don't actually have, maybe the way of getting it in the box and keeping it in the frame. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Yeah. There's also a young gentleman that's in spirit. And I'm saying young gentleman, I would think that he passed probably at 18 or 19 years old. Very close energy to you. He seems to move in quite a lot around you. And he's saying that sometimes you're feeling as if you're coming up against a brick wall. Do you understand that? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And he says that it's like you feel like you're at a standstill. This is like a cocoon for the butterfly, is what he's saying. You are getting ready to progress into another part of your life that is going to be the most wonderful development that you have so far in your life. That you are going to move in to a part of your life that you look at it and say, oh, this is the most productive and most wonderful part of my life. But you need to kind of digest what you knew from the old caterpillar garden, and then kind of take that and digest it, and then take what's needed to go into this new phase, and that takes a cocooning in the middle. And so there is kind of a frustration too, a little bit, when we're in that cocoon stage and we can't quite fly yet. But believe me, your most productive stage is still to come for you, and it's something that we'll be looking at between probably August and the end of the year. This cocooning will quit, and you will be stepping out with the wings dry and ready to do the things that you need to do. So use your abilities to help other people get their dreams at the moment, because your corn can't grow in the wintertime. Okay? And help them grow theirs. And then you'll help you grow yours when the spring comes and you're in flying like the butterfly. Okay? God bless you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so now we are going to, this is number 48, isn't it, that we're doing? We're going to have a closing prayer. Charlene, would you like to?
Yeah, sure.
And then we will all join hands down below. Thank you to the people online, and thank you to Charlene and all the workers for helping us. Oh, it's fine. Just yell.
So let's just take a moment and be still for a moment. And let us know that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, that the power of God protects us, and that the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and we know that all is well. Everything is in divine order in our minds, our bodies, and all our affairs. Thank you, God. Amen.
So we'll go down here and join these people and hold hands and give our song. And for those people that are strong and energetic, they can help Derrick. Enjoy this coffee and tea.